hey, maybe he's going to get a taste of what it feels like if they do lose and be blamed for everything that happens on this team. But as you guys can see from Agent Select, it is a mirror matchup.
Yeah, no changes. I don't think we were really expecting any changes. Both of these teams have looked fine on this map. Like, everything looks great. This is very meta, and essentially this is why Bind is getting removed. This might be this might be the last time we see Bind.
No, don't say that. Come on, I love Bind, and we still have a best of 5.
Yeah, we might see it in the best of 5.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows, who knows. But now, I mean, with all of that expectations coming in, is this the same as what you felt like against Liquid? Like, this is a must-win for Crew if they want to
100%. If they want to take this home, it has to start in Bind. They decided to come here out of all of the maps that they could pick. As we said, they got the experience already also on the stage, so if it's not Bind, it's a 2-0.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. And again, we kind of highlighted him earlier. Nags has to go big. There's a lot of pressure on him. I think that if he can step up and show a similar performance that he did to Liquid, there's definitely a chance. Pistols are important. Momentum, for sure.
Yeah, as Cloud9 had a slow start in the first day, so I guess Crew again hoping today they have a slow start, so they have to win their bind. Capitalize on that slow start if it's there, and obviously take that into the rest of the series.
I mean, we talked a lot about IGLs and the great IGLs that these players have been studying and learning from under. And I've got one person for you here who's going to be casting alongside Brian Central. It is the Gobies IGLing apprentice, Zesh.
I love it. Thank you very much for that one. It's a wonderful day in Manchester, and it's a wonderful day to bring you a grand final that determines one thing, Ryan. Is it NA who are taking home Manchester overall, or does LATAM have a say in this?
Yeah, it'd all be Americas at this point, but a year ago today, Crew almost made it into the Champions Grand Final even. They lost to Gambit back then. Now it's a different team, different tournament, different system altogether when it comes to the format. But can this Crew team add another giant under their belt when it comes to killing them? And none other than the biggest giants, I think, of C9 with their new roster.
And not only that, right? It was roughly a year ago that Cloud9 last time played over on LAN. So for both of them, it's a bit of a proving ground in that sense. Most importantly, Cloud9 had a few chill days. They didn't need to play on that stage so far. So this is somewhat of a big test for them to show that not only in their gaming rooms they can play well, but also when it comes to the stage.
I mean, the pressure that this team is going to have on them overall, right? Just it feels like a football manager's team put together when you've got like Ye, the best player in the world, the best opper. You've got Vanity, who's accredited as one of the strongest IGLs in NA. MCE, one of the best coaches in NA in tac shooters overall, right? There's a lot of pedigree going for them, and maybe not for this tournament, but future, no excuses for C9 not to do well. This should be clinical for them. Crew, the desk said it, they need to win this map if they want to sort of get things going in their favor, but they have a lot of comfort on the stage so far. C9, bit of a time to adjust.
Yeah, while the Vinyl has a little bit of a scratch. I mean, most importantly, one thing the desk talked about, and that we're also once more need to talk about here, same maps basically that we have seen before, right? And for me personally, Kikuka said it quite well, this right here has to be basically the map that works so well for Crew, because that 13-11 versus Focus that Cloud9 had earlier in the group stage also felt like it was way too tight to be comfortable to say like, yeah, we cannot play this against Cloud9.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's also that Crew picked up that Haven as the first time that these guys played, and it wasn't to their liking, but as soon as they started to pick binds, not only in this series, but every series since they lost against C9, it's looked a lot stronger for them overall. And we're in, and the spike's already been planted by Crew.
And there we go, it starts. Crew definitely got that spike down over on that A site, as it's most definitely the retake starting off for the moment, but Zelzis goes into Bath, and they keep on defusing. They make it work with the Ninja, not quite yet. Close enough for it. As Exetti is trying to make it all around, and Crew takes it, the pistol in favor of LATAM, as it looked like it could have been a Ninja defuse working by the book, but it's not the case.
I mean, it was a blink and you miss it. We go in, all of the players are still alive in the post plant. And Crew, one of the things against Liquid that they did so well yesterday is just upping that tempo, being aggressive. For Team Liquid, you've got two stand-ins. That communication coordination is not going to be up to par. But this is the C9 team that we are going to be seeing next year, at least for the most part. Cooper is here as a sixth, but this is the 5 that really should be in Sao Paulo playing on the stage when we get to it. So this is the team that should really be building that rapport together, and they're going to be ecoing in the second round.
And you talk about things that worked well yesterday against Liquid, was also the pistol rounds working quite well for Crew. So this is a great indicator and a great start for them. As for the moment, everything calms down a little bit. On the weapon side, we don't see anything crazy really, but it's going to be a swift push over to the B side. They're already taking it close, but one player that could make a problem would have been Vanity.
Nax has actually upgraded all the way to the Vandal as well, so it's a gun that he wants to keep a hold of. If it could be flawless, it'd be a hell of a bonus to go into for round 3. But Zelsis, Ye, Leaf, the last alive, spoke too soon as Leaf tries to peek out, and Davies is there to get onto the back of him. Ye's pushing all the way to Elba to see if he can catch somebody, but Crew are really closing those gaps down. 3 players all watching CT.
Not too much happening there, Ryan. It would have been a big of a surprise, to be honest. Ye still finds one, but the Headhunter, with one more bullet left in the chamber, most literally, shouldn't find too much. Ain't the case, and Crew starts with a 2-0 over here on Bind. And you know, this has been also a thing in that game versus Focus, right? Where when we talk about Bind in particular, and when we talk about the Cloud9 defending at the beginning side, it didn't look too good, right? They were losing and we're down 0-4.
Very uncomfortable. From like hearing how Focus did, it seemed that they were in like an insane amount of form, and it was the first series, the second map they ever played like as a team in an official, so there's always going to be that teething pain at this point. They've also traveled a fair distance, and Focus, you know, playing with nothing to lose at that point. They're in a good run of form, they're gunning for Ascension for next year, and if you go up against a team like that, it's no holds barred. And Zels is going to be trying to fight for showers at this point, and Boombot's going to be cleared instantly, and Leaf actually catches Davies early on.
Yeah, White swing out of Bath, instant punishment, as though Klaus finds a bit of remedy, as they pretty much made it on the side, even finding Celsius as well with the snake bite. And so the control over A nearly belongs to them. They still feel a little cautious to not directly get for the spike, but here that comes. As I said, he's carrying it, actually doesn't move for it yet, as Nax wants to punish them further. Klaus falls, but Nax is hunting and gets punished in the end. It's looking good for Cloud9. Only 2 more players stand from Crew, and as they make the decision to dedicate or not, the teleporter would still be an option open. Gets himself to Spectre and sees, most definitely, the barrel of Vanity. Knows where one of the North American players stands, but calms down for the moment. Still 50 seconds that are left on the clock. Still 50 seconds to determine where to go. Xant most definitely can't out, and it's a question of time if they'll change the pace, but it is still Xeti who comes close to the side. It's still him who wants to have a duel anytime soon. Gets that one against Vanity, and 2 more stand on the side. No chance at all, and Cloud9 grabbed there first with a good amount of casualties though.
Should have been going their way with the sort of guns that they had. I think it was just the 1 rifle, the 1 Vandal that Crew were bringing into this round. But it was just the amount of control that they had. They had backside completely. They even had a bit of showers control too. So Crew in that position are all trying to come through short. They could go for the teleporter. We're trying to hold their ground, hoping if they cut noise, C9 will rotate over there early on. And a bit more control for C9 now. There's still a buy in the hands of Crew. Ultimate's coming online. I think Davies was pretty close to having a showstopper.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of moments where Crew's attacking side against Liquid was a little bit mismanaged. Daxedi is the one with the orbital strike to go. And that flash is going to get some good amount of information for Cloud9 to see that there's going to be somebody B long. You could actually see Zeppa picking up the orb at that spot, but he has a little bit of help there from Vanity, and the rotation coming in from Leaf too, so there's going to be 3 on this B side, as well as a chamber trademark if you jump down from hookah.
And from a fast play over in Bath, we go to a way slower default. Trying to check if anything is towards Garden, towards Belong. Gonna find that all of this is empty and can be their territory. But they're not dedicated yet to that B side entirely, but they make the move, Ryan.
There's still a lot of control, and like Vanity is playing in hookah. Like there's not really much utility to play off there. He's just trying to hold in on the close angle because he has that judge. He's going to be playing in close quarters. Crew probably aware of it. It's very common for him to try it, but nobody's pushing in that spot. It feels like Crew bottlenecking themselves a little bit.
They're expecting that lurk to come anytime soon. Someone just sneaking around the corner, punishing at the wrong time, but that ain't happening. Cloud9 reinforced the B side. Vanity once more standing close. The smokes are now dropping down. The Molotov should deny Crew the entrance, but is that the case indeed? Xepa just waits for them to come out of the choke position, but it works quite well, and once more it's the judge speaking the verdict of "you shall not pass." Xepa says the same for a triple denies entry. And Klaus stands there with no options, shrugging. What should I do? There's nothing left for him to do. Save that weapon if possible, but even that seems near impossible. Waits in the corner, and it seems like time was the only enemy really of Crew in that particularly execute.
Yeah, Klaus was more watching to see if any flanks were going to come in, any aggression from Sand, but it was just held carefully from C9. It was also a really nice play. As that execute from Crew was coming in, you saw the Molotov snakebite combo from Vanity and Leaf, and you cannot disrespect that with that element of being vulnerable with a Molotov. Yeah. It'll burn through you quickly, and hell, we even saw Vanity get a kill just with the help of that vulnerable because the Viper got the assist. Crew just leaving it a bit late, trying to push out everybody from C9 is prepped, and easy to stop and execute like that if it's coming out of one extremity, and also very easily telegraphed.
It's basically a breeze of wind that can get you when you're actually that vulnerable, right? With that judge in particular. But that's a good start from Cloud9, even though, you know, the first 2 rounds have been lost.
Yeah, great calling by A. You can definitely see this IGL like hard at work. I mean, the rotation's been spot on, and the stack is in the right spot here too. It's a pretty awkward buy, only 1 gun save for Davis, and he's going to take it right out of his hands.
Again, the focus game, Ye was quite good on the entries as well. I think 5-1 overall. And once more proves that is one of his easiest tasks. You sound kind of ironic with the Ye calling, Brian. What was the undertone here?
I don't know. I guess if there's a time to try out something to get him to maybe communicate a little bit more, it's a great chance to. You never know going into next year. It's typical NA, like to keep it close to their chest. But Viper's Pit's dedicated on the defense. Nags, he was so good with this ultimate to get those openings. This would be a hell of a time to start again.
Then it's down to Celsius to find them from the top ground. Ain't happening. Xan makes it a tie, but there's the ult from Leaf. And he shows what he can do. Only Xan to make a change. Even the flash finds him whilst he waits in the smoke. In 35 seconds, it's a miracle that he needs. As Nax hugs every corner closed, looks what he can find. Most definitely the Toxic in front of him will not make it any easier. From 45, he'll go down to 1, and he's looking every single corner. Someone could await him, but there he is. A quad from Leaf that brings it home. And Cloud9 with another one secured. It's looking exactly like the defense they've been looking for. Sure, there have been no real weapons for Crew, but now it matters to find the right adaptation, because when we take a look again at the first buy round Crew had, it felt like once more time was an opponent. Maybe that will be a change now.
It felt the same there, even though they're on a bonus. Just they have a plan A and they're not. For bind, it's executes. You've got those teleporters to do something in a whim.
Right.
Mid-round calls just seem to be non-existent for Crew. Like, we're going to go B, we'll wait until we can still go. They're not trying to rotate or bait away. It feels like Cloud9, if they get a whiff, that's where the attackers are going to be stacking. That's where the execute's going to be coming out. So I want to see a bit more depth from Crew, what they can do on this attack, because they're expecting more rounds like this. So much aggression from Cloud9, and Nax just can't do anything against 3 players.
And suddenly you break the conditioning. When they thought that they're all going to be so passive, Cloud9 does the total opposite. And the entire left side of the map belongs to C9 already.
It's such a smart thing, because Crew have been trying to deathball into areas of the map. They're being punished by C9, so they try and default more. And that's the round where C9 try and be a bit aggressive. Nags, because he is defaulting on his own, there's no trade, there's nothing that he can really do. He tries to teleport out and he's unable to. This is also, regardless of how it goes today, the last time we're going to see Ye play on Old Chamber. I don't know how people feel about that in the audience, if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a nice little swan song.
You got a point. I'm not a fan of Chamber, but Ye playing Chamber, I think that's my exception.
Cryo as well, he's been informed.
True. How could I forget? Either way, Spike's not going to hit the ground. So ult comes in, teleporter would be an option, but they're not making that switch, as they're still considering how to take all of that side as best as possible. Going for lamps would be an option. Nope. They still dedicate. They have wall as well as the orb ready, as though the Molotov is a little bit annoying, as Klaus still taps it once. That smoke will go down any second soon. The Xan finds Leaf. It looks good. No, it doesn't. It is Cloud9 who might have just lost the side. Need to retake it, as well as Ye and Xepa right now try to make that one work any second soon. It's 10 more seconds to get the spike down. That most definitely will happen. And with the Seekers, they know, really, it's coming down to the wire. Xepa with one wide swing could make a difference. Ain't happening, is not the case. Cannot punish him in time. And that is that one whiff you didn't want.
Davies has rotated all the way around as well, so there's a bit more support, a bit more of a crossfire. And Ye has the operator. It might be still just worth saving, considering the credits aren't that great for him either.
Depends if he finds a frag or not. One overstep from Davies, not a problem really there from Ye, and it's only Xan who can make the difference. He's done the difference from time and time again. Seeing if he finds anything close, the flash is out, he will swing, finds one, the second as well! The quad saves Crew and brings it back in a tie. There's no early lead for Cloud9.
Heroic rounds too, and as C9 was starting to sort of pull away, he seemed to have the better macro style overall. Crew have those flashes. They did against Liquid. They have shown that they are a capable squad. As the spike was planted, so much pressure on Zand here, but the flash is so good, he has to absolutely drill in and peek wide to get both of them. You can't give players like Ye space there overall.
Lovely to see. Lovely to see the mood is up, but what else?
It's all about comfortability, right? It's just getting used to this kind of environment, because the next time that they'll be playing in it, they'll be in their own continent, and it's going to be loud no matter what.
Once more reminding here, you know, Cloud9, pretty much a year ago that they played online. So that's 1 or 2 days ago, you could say.
I mean, for Ye, it feels like every day he was online at that point. So right now, it's a bit of an adjustment. Ye didn't have the money to buy another operator, but the Tour de Force is going to be watching short. The majority of players from C9 over on that A site, just keeping an eye. And Vanity actually wanted to be a bit closer to smoke off areas on Hookah. There's still that trade map just as you come outside, so maybe there's like a Molotov combination that you could do there with the slow. But that Trailblazer not seeing anything might be a bit of a red herring for Cloud9. They might think that the B site's actually completely clear, but that's because all of Crew are looking to actually jump out of hookah, potentially with that showstopper for Davis.
And with the flash coming out, it could be a clear indicator. Or is it all the fake? That is what Cloud9 have to ask themselves. The second flash and all the utility coming as well. When he finds at least one, there's not much more for him. The ult pops out as well. And as he's airborne, he's not finding much more. Xappa saves the day, or does he? That is the question for the moment. As he has been eliminated, the B site is somewhat open, accessible for the side of Crew to get the spike down. That is for certain. And Celsius still has his ult. Celsius has the opportunity, has to swap sides, and this could eliminate it. Could pretty much do the job, but it's actually second snakebite coming in, and it can only Nax to be found. Finds the ult, does not take it down! But the teleport is not good enough. And so it's the 4 for Cloud9. As you mentioned, they're playing it calm, they're playing it collected, hiding in hookah for a moment or two. But the retake worked.
Vanity as well, just playing super aggressive, stood on top of the cans. Maybe Crew expecting they could get a bit more space, but run right in. Klaus at the Viper's pit too, so having an ultimate to just help that post plan. That tracking is also insane from Xappa on the Phantom. Just a moving target like that. Crazy. But Crew, again, it's still just all coming from one space. They're not trying to split or flank or catch anybody by surprise. They're just running into Cloud9, who are so hungry to take those duels.
And by what I've seen so far, Cloud9 looks really comfortable there. Instead of fist bumps, they do index finger pumps. Different kind of thing, but looking forward to how that will become a trend. As for now, Crew, only those pistol at hand, and nothing really crazy to deliver. It would be a bit of a surprise if they make that one work, but what I like so far, really, Ryan, is the matter of fact that Cloud9 constantly swap up the kind of momentum, the kind of speed they use on their defense, how much room they take initially.
It's a deep playbook. A lot of it is just intuition at this point, because this map isn't in the pool for next year, so it is just kind of what you've been able to do on previous squads in the past and how comfortable that's going to be. Leaf, much more standard setup from him with this Viper's wallets in, but he's not going to put it up. In fact, he wants to try and take these fights potentially, looks away and catches both. Crew's buy isn't that great. It does provide an opportunity for the rest of Crew to sneak up shot, but all they do is break the trademark, go back because the spike was left in showers.
For a second, it looked like he was a little too wide. For a second, it looked like he's going to be caught off guard, but Leaf has been feeling it so far, and in this tournament, he has been exceptional. As he's seeking for more, get himself the quad, he does. And that's a big advantage as well, Ryan, because this means he's fueling up those ult orbs, literally closer to his second ult already.
Viper's Pit is so good on this map in a lot of different areas, but this is kind of what you expected and kind of standard for what C9 we were looking to see from them. Like, it was a surprise to see them go down to focus in that first series of this tournament. But up against this eco, it's clinical, really. Yesterday we saw a lot of rounds where it was leaning towards either Liquid or Crew, but there was Thrifties and ecos coming in. Seems that there's not much control. And no doubt this is a timeout from Crew at this point. There's still stuff that they need to like adjust to, because Cloud9, ever since we got past the pistols and into the full buys, it's been in their control near enough.
True. And you know, one thing that stands out a little bit, especially if we take a look again at that game between Crew and Liquid, is obviously the entry capability of Nax, which so far has not been capable in the same way as we witnessed against other opponents. And this so far has been a factor that is so damn relevant for this team in opening up the rounds and therefore opening up the opportunities to actually take those. Yeah,
and it's just, it felt that when that Tour de Force was online, it was where Nax could be a bit more snowbally. And I mean, the one round that we've seen outside of pistols for Crew to take was Zand getting the 4K. And it's just where it becomes a little bit more loose, less of a macro, where are we going to execute, where are we going to go. But this is Crew's map pick, and it feels a little bit more one-dimensional. They don't have as much room to cause chaos and make stuff happen like they did against Liquid. Feels like Cloud9 are suppressing that a little bit, and it kind of forces Crew to all like fish in a barrel, try and push out of like showers or short together. And C9 are just mowing them down. A full buy here, big ultimates too. Klaus still has that Viper's Pit, and a little bit of damage done to Celsius that wants to compete against this. There's a snakebite put behind him as well, which makes it very awkward, but he's still standing his ground.
So he either takes a bit of damage moving out, as the snakebite already vanished. Not that relevant overall. I was actually hoping that Crew would maybe take a little bit more of an aggressive stance.
There's so much utility use from Crew there, and so little to show for it. At least they're getting another smoke out of Vanity. He's only got one left. But there's no to-in and throw-in. There's no pressure put anywhere else. Everybody from the side of Crew is just sat waiting for aggression, and C9 are good to sort of pick their fights, that these are the rounds where they just stack up on the right place and hold their ground instead of go looking.
One snakebite, boombots, both flashes, but they're rechargeable. can be a bit of a problem for sure, but now with the second wave, the ult is coming in, and the Seekers are leading the way, trying to shoot which first, as it could be a possibility to at least go closer to land. But Klaus is trying to see what he can find. The Brimstone smokes at least would allow them to get closer on site, but they still have path to clear, where 2 players are awaiting them. It's already Nax's dead as he tried to lurk. Celsius continues to spree and gets a second as well. The double has been secured, but Davis has a say in this. As he gets him down, Vanity locks down the site and leaves it to a single race who still stands a chance. Crew is not fully done with that one. Davis is fully done with that one, but a player peeking from Haven any second soon. It's gonna be his final blow. That's the 6-3. Cloud9 look quiet. I would actually say really solid so far in this defense.
It's just straightforward, just crossfires. I'm going to play on this spot because they know that Crew spent so much utility trying to get showers and couldn't get much. Vanity feels comfortable that he's not going to get pushed from here in showers, that it's just going to be this kind of spot. They can play a little bit wider, and he only sort of peeks out a bit more once Leaf is there from Heaven to try and trade. It's just good fundamentals. Like, this kind of, again, feels that you'd want to see. It's not super flashy, but when you're putting together a squad like this, just start with the basics.
This is a funny thing. When I talked to MCE a while ago, he said, we are still working on fundamentals. Even though those are world-class players, I would say, Ryan, it is very important to still work with those fundamentals. And Crew so far, fundamentally speaking, not looking too good in various ways.
They just don't have that space, that gap. Now they do.
Oh, that's
one
nasty.
of the rounds. This is where Crew can springboard a little bit. I mean, how many times did Nags get a kill just playing out of showers and somebody pushing him?
Who could win? A little handheld pistol? Or
yay. With the unnerfed tour de force. But it was literally the only time I've seen C9 do that. But now Crew, what are you going to be able to do? There's going to be a Trailblazer used on the defense to get a lot of information, and it doesn't spot anybody on sand.
And the A side is reinforced, not B.
Next moving across. Not able to actually pick up the operator, just still on that headhunter. He's going to be the one pushing down B-Long, but he's so late. This spot needed to be cleared, and that's a great orbital strike.
Oh, but he's getting out. Does he even find a kill? Nax actually is not finding anything, and it could be Xepa with low HP, still seeking something, but no chance. As from left and right the players come, it could be the 4th for Crew, as they also put that ult in. Davies finds Leaf, and this means only 2 more from Cloud9 stand. It should be near impossible, and would be excellent for them.
It's chaotic now. The fight's coming in close. It's just going to be Vanity left alive.
He doesn't stand a chance at all. Nope. He's at least finding 1, but not much more happening. And finally, with even the weapons that were not really going in favor of Crew, they find themselves the 4th. And it started all with an entry on the chamber.
Yeah, just sitting and waiting. And C9 probably not going to do that again, right? Certainly, like, the thing that they did so well once they actually pushed down B-Long a few rounds ago, like round 3 or round 4, there were 3 players there. Even if one of them went down, there's a trade that can at least come in. Yay, out on his own, gets taken out, nobody's there to try and support him. No gun was picked up, no upgrade was there. But it's an awkward position to be in. Could still be 6-all at the half, which would be great for Crew going on to their defense. But the buys are still available, and Ye has another operator in hand. But the money is pretty awkward on the side of C9, so if they lose here, final round, they won't have much to work with, round 12.
At the same time, the good thing is that they have 2 insanely vital ults, right? They have Brimstone ready to help fire on wherever he wants to. Same goes with Leaf for retake and also for locking down sites. But as we see right now, it's mostly B that right now has been reinforced. There's not much going on A.
Now it's going to come in just because there's been so little noise from the side of Crew. Seems that with the smokes coming in, with the Trailblaze potentially or just a flash, it's going to be that as a giveaway. The showstopper is coming through, but C9 have actually made a lot of distance for themselves. All of these angles being cleared, nobody in lamps for C9 because they expected this ultimate to come through.
Yeah, how far is he going to go though? Is he going to find anyone? Ain't the case, and Leaf is going for that beautiful lurk, finds Nex. And Cloud9, they want more of ultimates to use, as though that is the perfect timing. Never mind! It works brilliantly for Cloud9, as for a second it looked like it could have been the flank of the flank that still gets them back into the game, but ain't the case. Crew, right now, really not sure where to even start with, as this 7-4 is a significantly better defense that we've seen so far in this tournament from Cloud9 Unbind.
Yeah, Leaf getting past the trademark. I don't know if he smoked it or just went for that rush just as Nags died. But just those kind of moments where it's like, okay, we've not done it at all this half. We've not been aggressive. We're not trying to flank in behind them. let's go for it now. And it did kind of catch Crew by surprise. They're not really being proactive around the map. They're kind of like, with a minute left on the clock, all in the same spot, ready to execute on the site. Right now, they're spreading out again. And Team Liquid, C9, 2 hookah players cross-firing to keep control of that. And the showstopper for Zelsis is one of the big ultimates that Cloud9 have available to them in the last round of this half.
So Crew, once we're building up in front of the B sites, so nobody's flanking, nobody's lurking, nobody's waiting for a late move. They have dedicated themselves pretty much to B at this point in time.
There's a nice little move as well from the Viper and the Brimstone on the defense, using the Viper wall to just peek out, maybe catch a nice little position, but they're still holding in that spot and giving up Garden just a little bit. So B-Long is where Crew are looking to go.
And so they're entering. B side is definitely where they're going to attack from. Klaus is just waiting for the right timing for the hookah players to make a mistake, as in the meantime, Vanity and Xepa, that's a brick wall, you can't catch through it. And so, a single ult to make the difference most likely ain't gonna happen, except they're all facing way too far. But even with the ult, a clear signal that you're not coming through this.
It spikes in the center of the Viper's pit too.
Oh, that's ugly.
I would be shocked if Nags can pull this off.
They're taunting. They're legitimately taunting.
Again, just like C9 have a good timing of like when these executes come in. The Viper wall goes up from Leaf pretty much perfectly every time. Snake bites mollies. Flawless way to end. 8-4 on the defense for Cloud9 in a great spot going on to the attacking side. Crew on their map pick have it all to do. But at least they're on the defense. They don't need to try and coordinate themselves. They just need to deal with that oncoming reckoning that is Cloud9 on this attacking side with this squad. You got Leaf on Viper. Leaf is a duelist in his own right, man. Like, it's incredible. These guys can click heads when they need to.
You would say, right, you have a Ye on your team, you have a Celsius on your team, right? And who's top fragging? Your Viper player. Not that Leaf is not doing that most of the time, or in this tournament in particular, but he's been exceptional. He's looking sensational so far on the support roles he plays. It's very calm and collected. He finds his kills.
Big thing for Cloud9. Going on to Haven as well. If they take this map, they're going on to somewhere that they've comfortably beaten Crew this tournament already. Be business as usual. And also, if they do go to the grand finals later today, making this semi as swift as possible and straightforward. Having it not drag on, because 100 Thieves are, you know, sitting watching this. They're chilling. They did their semi-final yesterday. They're going to be rested and recuperated for the grand final later on today. Cloud9, they want to just get through this quickly, if at all.
And a tiny little changes, for example, the chamber trap that we're seeing right here, right? A little bit different here from the side of Cloud9 to keep it in a different position, but they're focusing on B for the moment. As 4 players of Crew might expect exactly that. So it comes down to clean, accurate shots to clear up what's awaiting them. It could have been possible that it has not even been seen. Klaus is waiting for the first. The bot comes out, but Ye starts fragging. Klaus has the answer though. As they come onto the site, he keeps on locking it down. And so 2 remain for Cloud9. Could change the sites, but ain't doing so. Davies is low HP, gotta check the corner, finds him on the edge of the smoke. And Klaus does not have much to say in this. Low HP he was, and so only Nax remains. But if there's a man to clutch it right, it is Nax.
Only 3 bullets left on the Headhunter.
Make it 2.
Going down one by one, and look how close Vanity's playing at this spot. A bit of a bait away, and the Frenzy's going to close that distance. It was the player advantage for Crew. Klaus did such a good job with that Viper wall coming up, the snake bite, making all of those players weak as they push on, and made it very easy for Crew to hold on. But Crew took so much damage. There were 2 players left for C9 that had more health than the 3 still alive. And Davis as well, just playing in elbow, maybe thinking he was a bit more hidden. Pretty easy kill for C9 once they got in onto that B site.
Feels a bit like Cloud9 is purely in the driver's seat. Crew, the back row, don't even know what's happening to them.
Well, it's also just for Crew, like they were really good in their pistols yesterday. Maybe it's because Team Liquid weren't great in their pistols overall, but using those rounds to sort of buff yourself up is important. Like, it's Crew are only on 4 rounds despite winning a pistol in the first half. The rest has been all Cloud9. It has been incredibly one-sided once we got into the meat and bones of it. And this is looking to be 10 with the eco on the side of Crew.
I could be technically a bit dangerous considering that Cloud9 have 2 rifles, but obviously they don't consider that they're going to lose those 2. And this Crew are setting themselves up mostly for that side of B. Nothing is going to happen over there. Cloud9 realized that is free real estate. Thank you very much. We're going to take that. Spike is hitting the ground. And with a high likelihood, we're heading into double digits for North America.
Be really curious to like compare, like this is up against a Thrifty for Crew, but like how Cloud9 took that space very quickly going onto the site. Areas where Crew on their attack got stuck a lot, right?
Exactly.
Where are they going to be throwing snake bites? Where are they going to be throwing mollies on this attack? We saw it in that little corner as you come through short by the boxes, just to clear some of these angles that people could be holding a shorty on. But every player on Crew is still alive. These guns wanted to at least do a little bit of damage. Vanity does have a rifle here. Oh, he actually swapped it away because he wants to be a bit more aggressive.
Very dangerous, but at least finds one. Backs off in time as he's down to 21 HP. The spike is ticking way too fast, and as the rhythm gets faster, you better leave the site. They keep the 2 Vandals, they keep 1 Spectre. More than decent for the side of Cloud9. As they keep what's needed, and then it's double digits already.
Yeah, this could be a bit of a speed run. And I think that's what Cloud9 are going to be expected because they played the groups already, and it was a swift 2-0 for them. It was the same maps in a different order. This is the one map that we didn't see because it was the decider. And considering how Crew looked yesterday, there was a sliver of hope, really. But it's been pretty much shut down from Cloud9. It's also just like the communication there. At the start of that round, they had 2 Vandals. One was in Ye's hands, one was in Vanity's. He went to Zephyr, like, here's the Vandal, give me the Spectre. I'm going to go push and get a bit more.
Very reasonable indeed.
They've actually upgraded a couple more times as well. 3 rifles now for Leaf.
And they seem to just take the fastest route possible, but with 2 snake bites, you'd rather not do that. As they're waiting in front of the gates of B, not much happening for the moment. The question is for how much longer, with the ult coming as well as the Boombot. It's chasing Claws, and he's going to an absolute death trap. No chance at all for him, and Sodas makes it only 4. High ground taken also here by Celsius, but they're still not fully on site. They still need to change the back off the sand positions, but they might just make it work. They very much do. It's only Vanity, never mind. 10 HP and a Spectre left. As he's upgrading,
He's going for the TP.
he's gonna run.
Only 1 smoke left and 10 HP going over towards that site. The Chimp is still alive. There's a trademark right there on this entrance to Showers. And he's in his smoke, so he might not even clear it. Runs right into Nags' crossfire. Great rotation from them. And it was a bonus for Cloud9, so they still have money to work with. But I also like the tempo that they tried to set. They got slowed down by the Viper utility, Snakebite, then they threw out the Boombot, they threw out the Trailblazer. You won't be able to do that on the new patch, right? Because Molotovs now break utility, so closing that distance, orbital strike used. And Davies did really well holding onto the backside for dear life. Did so much damage. Ye was super low health by the time that he got there. This is what you kind of need, but it might be a little bit too little too late for Crew.
Could be. I mean, also considering that I don't expect Cloud9 to do the same thing again, right? It was maybe a bit of a test of waters. How is it? How much are they actually going to use utility that early on? So much more slowed Cloud9 approaching this round, gathering a bit of information in front of B. And Nax is debating his decision.
Yeah. He was so good at this against Liquid, being able to push up short and get that aggression, but that's because Team Liquid weren't playing a Viper. This wall is going to make it more awkward. He's trying to check between 2 angles, and Leaf catches him by surprise. They expect it. He's got a gun upgrade, and his execute coming in thick and fast.
And perfect to break the timing. Leaf is just hunting him down. And this brings us to a number 11. In a matter of seconds after they found the entry, they realized, let's put that stim beacon down and just run it, because the Brimstone smoke's not going to be fast enough anyway.
It's night and day with how these two teams are attacking, right? Wow. Crew's super slow, then going for an execute once their utility had like recharge. Here it's Leaf, I've got a kill, I'm going in. Like, you follow me, I'm the entry Viper in this case. The rest of the team is in form. Look at him now, he's having a grand old time. I've never had that much fun playing Viper on this map.
Did you ever have that much fun playing Valorant?
Sometimes.
All right.
When I'm not playing Viper on this map, or Breeze Viper. That could be either I'm getting absolutely dumpstered or nothing's happening, guys. I'm over here on B on my own.
Yeah, while you're waiting, you can surely do your taxes. Either way, 11-5. This is going to be from Cloud9, 2 rounds away. And it's not looking good economically as well for the Crew side of things, right? Sure, 2 players are going to have somewhat of an economic buffer. There's 1 rifle broad into the next round, but still, it's not going to be an ideal situation to hold up Cloud9.
These kind of moments, 11-5, kind of the semi-final that you want. I do feel sad, I guess, to an extent, that, you know, we're here in Europe for home ground, and we've got 3 America's franchise teams. Could have 2 NA teams in the final with how this is looking.
I mean, they're Anglo-Saxon, it must be enough.
Yeah, we can take credit for them if we want.
Sure, Fig, if that feels like it. Either way, timeout at probably one of the later stages, but still mandatory to use that at the point in time. Crew is not finding any answers. And you know, there's not this big sample size where we could have been like, you know what, they could have done this and that. There was not too many Byrons we could have even discussed.
Exactly, yeah. It's just the amount of ecos really And the few rounds that they were able to get were off the back of sort of theatrics, right? Sans 4K, Nags getting the early kill, and then the thrifty round to just go over. On the defense, it's a little bit harder to do. Like, if you get that first kill on the defense, it's great so long as there's no trade from the attackers. If you put yourself in a position where you can get a kill aggressively on the defense, but you get traded, that's more benefiting to the enemy team than it is for you, right? Like, defenders need to fill so much more ground, get information. If you die in those cases, the attackers go, let's go to the other side because they think that we're going to be hitting B. That's where we got a kill, we can go A.
And at the same time, it's a kind of composition where you need to do that to a certain extent because you don't have any utility that precisely tells you where opponents are, right?
Yeah.
So doing that move of a chamber makes sense. It's not like that, but at the same time, insanely risky. So they take a different route.
Speaking of risk. 4 players all pushing down B long.
He has no TP.
It's good amount of information. Yay, if he's the IGL, he's calling now. He's seen a lot of players, and that means that the rest of Cloud9 are going to go in. That's pretty much what Optic used to do a lot. Canary in the coal mine was Yay just sort of holding in areas, and as soon as he got wind that something was going on, like a typical Sentinel that Chamber is, the rest of the team go to the other side with a Viper's Pit. I mean, with the low buy, with the Viper's Pit dedicated, this is looking likely for Cloud9 to get to 12, but everybody is still alive on the side of Crew, and they do have a Seekers.
They also have the rifle, 1 rifle on Xand. That could just make the difference. Celsius holds a bit of lambs, except knows that he got to really extend in that ult as much as possible as they're coming in. Finds 2, actually 1 for one of the opponents, and a triple is secured. What looked possible for Crew is absolutely undoable for Xand, as he ends up like Swiss cheese with all those bullets flying in his direction. It is number 12, and once more to highlight one thing, Ryan. This is the map pick of Crew.
Yeah. This is their best chance, really. The other maps in this, they'd already played against Cloud9, and it didn't go well, especially the next one, Haven, a map that they were picking initially in this tournament, but they lost every single time, so they moved to Bind. Things were looking a little bit better. I mean, the finger fist bumps make a lot of sense when you look at players like Twiston yesterday, who almost broke Bone Cold's wrist with the fist bump because he was so...
Excited?
Yeah, it was intense. But here for Crew, they do have a full buy and some ultimates to work with, but it doesn't matter if Celsius is going to jump in. No respect. Closes that distance. 5v3 already.
They're treating them with contempt, and it seems like that could be pretty much done, but the lurk from Maxetti, could he make the difference? They're all swapping sides. It might not be too relevant, as Leave gets him in the end. 2 players remain from Crew. And you gotta perform the impossible. Defender standing in Bath as if they would be attacking. Xepa tries to farm a few more. Celsius is gonna steal it, but Cloud9 take Bind and go 1-0 in that semi-final.
One step closer to the grand finals later today, and they want this to be as straightforward as possible. It was not a good start for this team in this tournament, losing to Focus, but ever since they've built up their first time on stage, it's like they never left.
No, it pretty much didn't feel like it. You know, some wonky games on the group stage, right? Some seem more scary, some seem more dominant, but that one right here was more than good enough. Bind looked wonderful after the pistol round, and the second also. It looked like it could be a problem, but it wasn't at all.
We've already seen Crew, like in the sort of winter period, heat things up last year at Champions. They were giant killers, they went on miracle runs, but right now it's looking more like a nightmare. Going on to Haven, C9's map pick, it's going to be pretty comfortable for them, but weirder things have happened, certainly when it involves Crew.
And that one aspect we talked about that could be a problem for Cloud9 was comfort. But they didn't look uncomfortable at all. It looked like it would be their home ground, most literally.
It's comfortable. And just these maps, not quite the Holy Trinity for you, but all these maps in the game, the fundamentals are strong, and people can get excited about Cloud9 again. There's still a long way to go. We still got the grand finals potentially later, but this is a good start for today.
It was a magnificent start. We're one step closer to that North American Grand Final that we might get. But we're not done yet, right? We've seen surprises, we've seen upsets so far in this tournament, and it leaves us with the questions if Crew got something prepared for that, because it felt like this would be the perfect map to come up with a surprise, specifically considering the performance previously from Cloud9.
Yeah, we got the desk, we got the second map. So Yinsu, the desk, what do you think of that one?
Thank you very much, guys. We saw Yay walking off there with MCE as they were going off the stage, probably discussing a lot of tactics. What have you guys made of Yay's debut as IGL here on LAN?
Yeah, I think you struggled a little bit. I think it shows, you know, people out there flaming the IGLs for their fragging ability. Put the best player in the world on the roll, and obviously he's not the best player in the world anymore. So I think you need to cut some IGLs some slack out there.
I'm going to go in and say I didn't see too much change. Obviously, Ye, I felt he was very aggressive and in terms of firepower, like not his normal self. But I do think, again, it was whitewashed in terms of the game. Vanity was doing a lot of talking and still filling the role of just like having a judge and just like this. So I don't know. It doesn't look like too much has changed. Very vocal, and I honestly didn't see Ye talk that much. So
yeah, but the thing is that he was smart enough to have his monitor so close up that we could not see if he was speaking at all.
We need the comms. We need
yeah,
the comms.
exactly. So I'm gonna need the camera guy to just go on the side to actually show us if he is given the calls. But no, I think that this was an incredible showing coming off from them, knowing that it's Crew's map pick and the performance that they were having, also shutting down Davis time and time again. You guys say that, you know, Ye was maybe not performing to his best, but he was almost always getting the first kill upon Davis and shutting down the entirety of the aggressiveness that could come on the execute from the side of Crew.
Yeah, honestly, and he didn't really need to. The only run that kind of stuck out for me that I didn't like, is why I'm being critical, was just pushing against an eco. I'm not a fan of pushing against an eco. It's kind of the reason why they lost against the eco. But other than that, everyone looked great. I definitely want to shout out Leaf, looked incredible. I earlier was kind of questioning him on Viper. I just felt he looked really good. And Zeppa's having a great game, like just a great event in general. He's the person that has always been on the initiator, hasn't changed the role, and is still fragging very highly, and just the util is just incredible. It's like dogs at the right time, it's sky flashes at the right time, and yes, Zeppa, for me, has been a bit of a standout in this team.
Yeah, for me, it's all about Leaf. I think he's been playing absolutely fantastic this game. Yep. But doing what he does best, taking space, taking the aim duels, knowing his timings like that. And when someone like that has like a free role, where Ye, the IGL, now obviously saying, Leaf, go do what you want, go walk up here. And you saw it numerous times getting 3Ks, 4Ks, winning his team the round on his own.
Yeah, we got some stats from Leaf as well here, of course. With Zelsis coming in as well, I think a lot of people weren't quite sure how they were going to sort out the roles, what they were going to do. Are you guys happy to see, you know, what Leaf is doing now?
I am super
especially
impressed.
with Zelsis.
I am very impressed. The fact that we were debated, like there is no real Sentinel player. He comes in, fulfills the role, and he still feels like he's comfortable in every single decision that he makes. It doesn't matter who's IGL, and he really feels like his teammates can trust him to go on these cheeky plays, but also, you know, perform at the beginning of the round just as he's supposed to.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, a good player can play most roles. And when you're a fantastic player like Leaf, I mean, you can play literally anything in the game. He's just well-rounded at everything, and then obviously, you know, can play anything. So it's a great asset to have in the team. Something similar to Crew, you know, changing the Rays, where you have Zelsis on Rays, Leaf on Rays, where they have Davies on like Duos and Zand on Duos. So kind of some styles in the team, but obviously Cloud9 was on top today.
Maybe he should IGL next, you know?
Yeah,
why not?
I think so, yeah.
Just do a liquid.
Yeah.
Everyone has a go. Yeah.
Brazil is this turn.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of fans here who are supporting Cloud9. You guys have been hearing them on stream as well. And Ginny is standing by right now to have a little chat with some of them.
We are here besides the stage. We can see some of the crew working quite hard behind us. We have some of the crowd. Guys, you excited to be here? To be fair, that didn't really sound very excited. I feel like you guys are still half asleep. So I said, are you excited to be here? That's much better. We're joined by Ali, who's actually also excited to be here, as far as I'm aware. You agreed to do this interview. Sorry for picking on you from the crowd. What's that? Is that your favorite flavor?
Actually, it is, yeah. It's tropical, and that's my favorite flavor. And then coconut. So for those who want to try, that's my go-to go.
Okay, we just saw Cloud9 beat Crew on Crew's map pick. How are you feeling about that one? Are you a C9 fan?
Actually, no, I was supporting Crew, so it's, yeah. But honestly, I think Cloud9 is really giving a great performance. They've really woken up today and had some good breakfast, I feel like it, so yeah.
What did you have for breakfast?
Eggs. That's it.
That's really boring. Okay, for the fans here in the crowd, we heard a little bit of cheers for Crew. Is there anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, I think it's amazing that, you know, another region is competing versus 100 Thieves and Cloud9, so hopefully we'll see a lot more Crew shouts, yeah?
He said he wants to see some Crew shouts, not some grandmas. Come on. What was that, guys? Thanks, thank you. Feel free to take a seat as we have some other people here. So, Kai, hello, welcome. You look very excited to be here yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It's been amazing, like meeting players and getting to spend time with friends. We've got some friends from Durham Uni and Mouse Place to shout out. So, yeah.
What team are you supporting here today?
I'm rooting for 100 Thieves. I was hoping for Liquid to do well, but unfortunately they went out, so I'm now a big 100 Thieves fan.
Okay, you know, we can support them all, but the fact that there is no Liquid, there's also no other EMEA representation here. So the fact that, you know, we're in the UK, how does it feel, you know, no home representation?
I mean, it's a bit sad, but at the end of the day, there's some like amazing Valorant players here that we get to see live, so I can't really complain. Like, it's awesome to see such great Valorant being played, so I'll take it.
We'll take it indeed. We're going to be heading back to the Analyst desk. Thank you guys for tuning in.
All right, thank you very much. Now, let's move on to map 2. Obviously, we saw a Crew fan in there. We want Crew to put on a good performance as well, not just for him, but obviously for the people that are supporting him, for themselves too. But map 2, I think map 1 was the one that you guys said that Crew, they had to come out swinging, they had to win that one, but that didn't really go to plan. So does anything change now? Do you feel like this is going to be a 2-0 for Cloud9? There's no coming back?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a slight chance on Haven. As in the group stage, it was 13-7. They had a good start again. Like this game, you know, they won the pistol, they won the Antico, but then Cloud9 got a hold of the game. So I think, again, they just need the momentum, and I think they need to believe. The Crew fan then said he was supporting Crew, not is supporting Crew. Like, they're not out yet, guys, so like, come on, give him some support still.
I'm going to completely disagree with you, just because I feel like it, and I think that if you get those 4 or 5 rounds, yeah, I like this.
Okay, Adam's catching strays out here. Yeah.
It's okay. You know, we love different opinions, but especially if you get those 4 rounds in a row, for example, at the beginning of a map, and you're not able to build onto that, is the gun rounds that you need. Because if the other team is so good at shutting down your momentum, what you need to do is to be able to adapt to someone stepping on your plan and being like, I honestly do not care that you got the pistol and that you got the bonus and you're wrecking my economy in every single way. I do not care.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it in terms of the gun rounds haven't been convincing, right? The actual rounds that Crew looked like they were going to win, obviously pistols, and there was a lot of ecos. They ecoed them once, and there was another round where it looked like they were going to eco them, but Leaf actually got 3 kills in the Viper ult. So yeah, I need to see something different with just their buy rounds. But I will say something that I noticed. So when they're doing their anti-eco after they lose the pistol, say they lose a pistol, I'm noticing on CT, on the defense side, they always stack a site like right at the beginning, and I've noticed this through all of their games recently, and that's just me just watching a few games. So if C9 are putting in time, they're going to see this stuff. And if I'm being fully honest, when I used to play Crew and when I was back on Liquid, I had a good time anti-stratting them. They had a good time.
I thought you were just going to stop like, I had a good time.
I had a good time. Like, I had a lot of reads against them, so I think if I had to give them any advice moving forward, like I think that they should try and anti themselves and just see their kind of tendencies, because I do see, even just by watching them, not even looking that in depth, I am seeing stuff.
Yeah, sure. I think they have quite a simplistic game plan, you know, game style, and I think that is quite easy for Cloud9 to read into. But I think at the end of the day, they've got to do what works best for them. I don't think now is the time to like, oh, okay, they have a read on us, let's change everything. I think they're a team where they've practiced these things, they know what suits their players, because you can have different game styles depending on the teammates. Maybe they prefer the simplistic style, maybe they want to, you know, in the future try something more different, but I think for now, just stick to their guns and, you know, what else can you do? You're prepared, you're here, let's see how the preparation works out.
I also really want to quickly talk about the cons, because obviously with the role changes, we're speaking about it here. Leaf on Haven, he's probably going to be moving on to the Rays, and you got Zelsus playing Breach as well. It's quite good that he's on form right now, right? That's what you want from your duelist.
Yeah, for sure. I like, so in an ideal world, you want both of them to be on Rays, for sure. I do want to definitely point out Zephyr again as just looking really strong on Haven. So definitely a big stand-up for me. But yeah, I still have a few questions around Zelsus on Breach, but it's just the role that he has to fill. And again, on this map, he's having no problem. All of his utils correct. It's just maybe, I don't know, in an ideal world, I would love double duelists, but it just doesn't work.
I will say the last time they played Haven here, in 16 rounds, Zelsus had 16 assists.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The util is great. The util is great. It's just that it just fits. It feels weird for me. It's just, I like him on duelist. I love them seeing on Neon.
It's the new normal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the new normal. But I very much get and understand the roles. So he's filling up the role. He's doing his part. Yeah, it's just a shame.
16's not enough for you.
It's just a shame. I want to go back to 2 years ago where you have double duelists. Basically, is what I'm saying for this team.
You can whip out the Phoenix.
Yeah. If I'm Crew, though, I'm really worried about Leaf being in form today, and last time they played him, when Leaf really shut them down, broke their momentum early on, back-to-back 3Ks, having like high impact as he did today. So if I'm Crew, I'm thinking, What can we do different where we don't let Leaf get a hold of us like this? What are we going to change up?
Yeah, also, on the side of Crew, I'm looking at Klaus, because you were talking about the breach. He's most likely going to go on the breach here. We know that Davies not having the best of the performance, was not really online for Bind, so we need that to change. And the best way to enable Erase is making him feel comfortable, making him feel like everything is going according to plan, and that things are going to be working, and the ground is going to be set for him.
And also, I'm going to bring this back to the IGL thing, because Bind, you guys sort of spoke about the challenges that Ye was going to face. Haven, Echoes, there's 3 sites there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bit different calling style. I think he can be a lot more fluid and a lot more dynamic on Haven than he can be to Bind. Obviously, Bind having no middle, and Haven literally middle being a bomb site. Very different play styles. Like, you can be more direct, you can manipulate the rotations better. So I think it might be a different challenge for Ye.
This is actually something that I found when I was coaching Liquid as well. It's not just normal. It doesn't feel like a lot of players come from CS. It doesn't feel the same as CS because there's 3 sites. So actually a lot of the rotations on defense take a little bit of time. So it's a lot of the time you just kind of want to make sure that you can, on the defense, you have one person just holding down A, and so that other people are more free to move around. But sometimes if obviously you create pressure and actually push that person off, the rotates can get a little bit weird. So we'll keep an eye on it, but I don't have too much worries. I'm kind of just picking out anything, any little thing for some crew hope.
I love that you mentioned Haven, as in having the 3 sites and being so different for CS, because obviously having no middle and having TPs wasn't enough.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's true. Yeah.
No, but there were so many things that ended up being different. Also, the other maps, the newer ones, I think that is what it gets us so excited about next year, and having another map. You, Adam, were able to get that bit of information that is going to have a new mechanic, so I'm very excited for that, because I feel like definitely not Fracture, but more Breeze and Icebox are falling into like the same category. So I want to see some innovation with maps. I especially feel like the IGL, and again, going back onto Haven is very important, especially on the mid round, because the decisions have to be super quick.
I mean, how do you exploit that for Crew, right? Because Crew, they obviously know as well, Cloud9 were pretty public with their decision, MCE coming out to talk about it. So how do you exploit that kind of situation, especially, I guess, Siggy, for you had a lot of experience to try and hone your players into more of the IGLing style. So if you were playing into a team who has just put their star player as an in-game leader, like, what do you do?
Okay, so if I'm playing, and again, it's EA probably on Chamber, majority of the time they're going to be trying to setting up over towards A. You just have to create a lot of pressure over towards A and then hit the rest of the map. So basically, when there is 2 people over towards A, or maybe even 3 trying to set them up, then you're trying to create pressure, fake pressure, and like you were saying, fast hits after you've done fake pressure.
For me and my teams, we were saying, when you're playing a team that you think you're better on, you're outclassing them, make them think. Don't let them have, say if Crew's game plan here on Havens, like most teams, you take that A control and then you want to play off that. Don't let them have that A control. Make them go off their game plan. Make them have to adapt on the server and really put the IGL under the pressure.
Yeah, I think also going back to what we just saw on Bind, we were talking about this round where Crew gets a little bit of information at the beginning of the round. We see some early rotation coming in for Cloud9, but then Crew second guesses every single next step, and they lose all the time that they had created. Then Leaf just went on a push, and everything that they had worked on successfully for the beginning of the round, which is scrapped to nothing because C9 are always one step ahead. And
what you're talking about is why I've been highlighting Zephyr all the time, just on the initiator, so good at getting information at the right moment. It's the util on just this team in general, like everyone understands
but
when.
Also knowing when it ends.
No, yeah. Exactly that, yeah. So and it's just finding out all the information when you need to, and just help the rotates, help the calls, give the information back to the IGL, and then just relay it and just make the adaptations.
Yeah, you can see perfect examples of Zephyr getting info on good intervals, knowing when, okay, they put pressure, I'm not just going to instantly flash and just waste the flash. You know they're there, they're shooting, they're making sound, don't need to waste it, holding on for the right moments, and then that enables Leaf even more. Say, for example, on Bind, there's a round where they flash B long, and then Leaf realize nothing there, takes the time on short, then they can instantly go into a stack and completely outplay Crew.
Well, it's time for us to head to Agent Select now and see what we're going to be getting here. We spoke a little bit already about potentially, some of the swaps on the side of Cloud9, and I guess that is one of the advantages of having players who are able to flex.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, and on the side of Cloud9, you have a bunch of them. So you're definitely feeling comfortable on that side. You also give everyone the chance to shine on different maps. And funny enough, we expect another mirror comp coming into this Haven, but especially looking at the controllers, I think there's a big difference between Exedi and him playing on Brazil. I know that he's always within that top 10 controllers in Brazil. He's going to need to step up his game to match up to Vanity.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on, especially on the defense half, both of the chambers, just trying to see aggression over towards short and just see how, basically just the A main aggression in terms of, are they going to try and fight for it earlier, or are they going to leave it, or are they going to just decide to both fight for it early and then we have some kind of chaos? So I'm kind of interested in that. I think this is one of the maps where when Chamber gets nerfed, I think this is like the only map, maybe Fracture, where we might see it in the future. Because it definitely works on this map still.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the Leaf and Davies now on the Raze matchup. Obviously before Leaf on the Viper, Davies on the off-roll as well. So it's like, it's going to be different. Different people taking the highlights, you know, taking the main full throat of the duelist role. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match up.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this map. Of course, Crew, their lifeline, their tournament life even is on the line here. They have to win here. Ryan and Desh, do you think they can?
Well, I don't really know, to be very honest. What I most definitely know, Ryan, is that I'm super excited to see if Crew themselves are capable of once more coming back on a map that they haven't won against Cloud9, where Cloud9 looked absolutely dominant so far.
But they haven't won at all this tournament.
True.
That's the other one. So, like, I mean, I do want to look at the Vitality one a little bit more. You were sort of part of the initial games on the Friday, right? It did feel that was a lot closer. It went to overtime. Zand, 32 kills. But it was Davies and Nags that got a lot of those like openings, those first kills. And Zand, we sort of saw it on Bind. I really want to look at him in particular because he's so good at playing off the rest of his team. He was good at it in Furia, he was good at it with Nip. Seems to really fit nicely for Crew overall. But then he's going up in a head-to-head with Fade against Zephyr.
Yeah.
Writes the book on initiator play sometimes. When KO came out, he was one of the leading ones in North America in the world. His Sky was really good on Bind. Now he's moving to Fade that is still looking to be very popular and very meta on this map.
And most importantly, right, you just mentioned Vitality. Cloud9 versus Vitality was a 13-3 for Cloud9. And that was an absolute dominant game without players like Ye even performing. But let's figure out if Cloud9 give us a North American Grand Final or if Crew has something to say in it. As Nax directly starts with an entry, Vanity falls, but there's more to come as Leaf has an answer. On the other side of the map, they already went all the way around, and it's a 2 versus 2, the C site. That most definitely is going to be the goal. Celsius is coming in from behind. You don't expect the player that close. But 18 points of health.
Davies was nowhere nearby as well, so the spike's been left on the ground. And Celsius in this clutch, he's just playing in on C Cubby, not giving up any noise. He's so low health as well, so he just needs to get the right kind of timing. It's all on Davies to find an opening here, and he's not quite sure. Has some information to work with that there were 2 players sort of trapping him around in C long. But both of them just holding their metal and hoping that the other player makes a play.
The thing is, Celsius instantly got to find the frag, because Davies still has a grenade, still has the opportunity.
There's a flash and a stun though still.
It's true, but then it needs to be a perfect peek.
Davies needs to be the one to make a move though, because the spike hasn't been planted. It's all on him, and he's actually going to clear down C long.
He's looking in the other direction though. I'm not quite sure if Celsius has his own point of view,
30 seconds left.
For the moment, he's going to pick up the spike. Could technically still run to B if he would want to. But he's playing it safe, not playing it for long. Rather going to the other side of the big box, and with the satchel now hurt, Celsius realizes what's up, and he's sneaking up, tries to see if there's any overswing from the side of Davies, but he's playing it smart, stays back in spawn, knows how many points of health are left on Celsius, and as Davies needs a single bullet in the chest of Celsius, it's pretty much done and dusted, except he finds that one bullet. But here he has the tap heard. Celsius swings wide, knows what's up. 1 point of health. Stun might be at the right time, but the nade should deny it. He needs to move so far back, and there's a single bullet that makes the difference, but he's still not dead. There it goes. Crew starts successful with a pistol.
It's just that information from his team that they knew that Celsius was low already. The patience and the composure as that clutch was going on and on. The mind games that were coming in, the second guessing. But Nags, he was punished by this on Bind. Just that aggression does well to sort of back out. And Leaf probably wasn't expecting not only players to be behind him on ceiling, but the spike to also be traversing through there of all places. It's a good pistol from Crew. It's what helped them build up against Liquid. But they even won the pistol first in the last map. And that was one of the few rounds that they were able to get in the end.
Went into that one, got a 2-0 start, and we're like, okay, could be quite a competitive match.
Rotation's already coming in. Vanity's the only one that has a gun that isn't a pistol, that being the Bucky. Just a bit of utility thrown in with the Omen smoke, the boom bot. And we heard the desk talking about the mind games on A. Granted, it is C9 not really working with too much, but the C site completely open. The only one nearby is Ye on that chamber. And even then, he's just checking mid to see if he can catch any late flanks. Right now, it's just try not to give Crew any ult obs, because all of the ultimates on the side of like Crew's team, maybe not Omen, all could be great on an execute, and they need them, I think, to win this map and this series.
Absolutely. the same time, Celsius could be hunting, getting closer to his own ult, but that is a different story.
It's bits and pieces like that. Zephyr just sort of realizing where they put trademarks, where you can break them, how they can exploit that going on.
But they're all on long, and that smoke might not make it too easy. Sure, they can spray through it. It's not like that. But that nade is not going to be easy. Xedi just moves back. They halved it, and they keep on defusing. It's going on, but finally Davies has an answer. It's still halved, but no chance. The spray through comes in, and it's going to be Ye who tries his best. It looked damn close. But Crew in a flawless fashion bring it home, and that was not the same as on Bind.
I mean, it certainly got us to sort of lean forward a little bit as a potential, and that might just sort of get into the heads of Crew a little bit. Like, there was no right or reason. Like, C9, if they won that round, it would have been unbelievable. But it's the fact that Cloud9 could do those kind of things with nothing that Crew are going to maybe be a bit more scared. A bit more scared to play it on C-Long if they get the plant, trying to play on site a bit more. It's that conditioning and that pressure that Cloud9 are just might as well go for it. We can really put the pressure in. We don't lose anything. And even though Crew, everybody survives, it's a flawless. Not really that much damage is done to the attackers. Could plant a seed in their head.
How close it was, but good start by Crew. Getting a double dose, Ye! Finding two who are trying to push onto the B side, and so Crew backing off, getting the spike on the back of Claus. And as Davies is also on 30 points of health, he cannot be hunted down. Do they keep on pushing down mid? They do! And it might be Vanity who finds a double. Players left and right as suddenly one is elevated. It's not looking too good for Cloud9 to deny that plant.
Springboarding through, but Zeppa's taken mid. He also has Zelsis to support, so this is going to be a really awkward plant for Crew. They're pretty much surrounded.
And with Nax falling down, it's pretty unlikely. 79 points of health, a Bulldog in hand, and that's not much more happening, or is there? Find Celsius, didn't lose a single point of health, and as he walks and sneaks around the boxes, might just find another, does so, and close by. He's actually gonna be close up, and so he should hear from behind. It is Xeppa finding the kill.
He doesn't hear from behind, no. He's completely muted, so Zeppa's able to actually get in. The step's not gonna be heard. Great clutch won by him, but a decent bonus, all things considered, by Crew. They do the damage, and separating these kind of fights is what's going to allow Crew back into this series, because if they can get that initial kill, when they get a first kill, they typically win the round following. They just got so little against Cloud9, who were in control throughout Unbind.
And what an amazing isolation here from Klaus, really. It was looking so close, and then he moves a slight bit to the right that he actually gets caught by the Seas. Unfortunate for him, but still the success that Cloud9 needed to not find any spiral from now on. But still, as you said, quite expensive one, right? There's not going to be great weapons right now on the North American side as we're taking a look. A Judge, of course, what else? Vanity trademark, as is his name could not be linked.
And there's a bit more like pace and tempo set from Crew taking all of this spot. Paola's going to actually connect onto Nag, so the rotation going to be coming in, but lots of mid control already from Cloud9. He's pushed all the way up.
But this is something we've been looking for from Crew, right? A little bit more swift, a little more fast-paced, a little bit more early map control. Something they didn't necessarily deliver on Bind when they were attacking.
But they haven't really got that much of A, to be fair. They're trying to be in sewers, trying to be in A long, but Ye's going to hear rotations come through. And it's certainly got into the heads, like Klaus using the flash to see if he can clear anything, but it's still seen out of all of the information. Everybody else is rotating to beat them on the A side. But there is a rolling thunder, to be fair, for Klaus.
That could be very beneficial indeed. As he's about to use it, that sight could be all theirs. Vanity needs to decide what he does, and he stays back in the corner.
He missed
Judge
Vanity.
anyway. It missed Vanity, but he was spotted anyway. Can still find a kill onto Nax, and keeps on moving. Crew, second thoughts, but there's nothing to really debate, as they're still getting onto the site. It's not really working at all. It is going to be Cloud9 finding a second round, and that looked like the Rolling Thunder is going to get them all.
That was a hell of a read, though, because there is a gap between the breach and the Rolling Thunder starting, and so Vanity was in a position that he's just in that gap. He does get caught by the Haunt that's thrown in, but he holds his ground, fully nearsighted. The Judge still does work. He picks up a rifle, gets another kill. And it's all just from Ye pushing him mid. Okay, we have this control. They're going to be in A. He's still, like, he doesn't get hit by that at all. That's where the Horn catches onto him. Nax has that information. But it's those kind of moments, and it is just like the brains of these players. Okay, they're on A. They have a Rolling Thunder. This is what they're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And that kind of adjustment, you don't need a coach to like call for that, because it's these players have got so much experience and so much like intelligence when it comes to their play. It's going to be those kind of issues. But there is a tech pause coming in too, because of course, but it's one of those ones where Cloud9 are really showing that bright side of them in such early days.
And there's one small thing that I just want to highlight when we're talking about Haven and Cloud9. Earlier mentioned it, right? That was the 13 free against Vitality. And it was a game that Xepa stepped up with 27 kills over the course of 16 rounds. So definitely not an easy opponent. But looking at things, Crew slowed things down.
The thing is that Crew will look at that and go, it's hard to really get a gauge of what went wrong because they don't know that Ye pushed all the way in and sort of got information that rotations were going through. But here now, I see Execute looking to come in, and Vanity's on the top box. There's a couple of rounds like this on Bind where different altitude catches off Crew as they're coming in.
Actually not on top of the box, can TP away in time, and that is the entry. Par in the fall was Ye. Either way, gonna find another and moves back. That is brilliant positioning and brilliant movement as they still need to defend it. And Nax finds the kill. That is going to be the controller gone. Retake maybe a bit more complicated from now on, but Crew actually never mind. They're gonna find Leaf. Is there much more to do though? The weapon's still not looking too ideal, making it only 2, and they're retaking back on the side. Celsius is actually gonna be stunned by his mate. That's not gonna make it much easier. Not the best weapon. Nax only with that one, but not gonna happen. Expenses though, at least. That is going to be one good thing for Crew, but it's the third for Cloud9.
Just getting in onto the site, doing a lot of damage. Well played from Xepa, just a Horn connects onto 3 players, gets information, gets a kill, and then not afraid to use the Nightfall off the back of it to really scare them away. But unlike Bind, a lot of these rounds are looking a lot closer. There's a bit more to and fro between the sides. It isn't just Crew sort of being locked in a position and just struggling to get out of the gates. Now it's coming down to just individual moments, which is what you kind of want to see from both sides. On a stage, getting used to this is so important. And thankfully, it's the last candidate that we'll see, like, Ye being able to just TP out like that, right?
I mean, technically, could do it with the new one if I'm not totally wrong. The range should be good enough, but not the same safety.
Yeah.
Either way, Crew getting the weapons they want. Nax on an operator.
Still waiting.
And he's just waiting for the flank. The rest of the team trying to find a bit more in front of A for the moment. And Cloud9 this time around, no mid control they're seeking.
And now it's just holding on to the extremities. They do have that trademark on B. Rolling Thunder too, so they could always just play for a retake on whatever site. In fact, they've used, C9 have used so little utility at this point. Crew, we saw it on Bind a little bit too, just lots of util used in the first like intervals to try and clear this. Some of it's not going to recharge. And Xedi in a nice spot on sewers if you can catch like a flank or a rotate. But there's still 2 players on C9 playing from sewers watching it.
And it seems for a little bit like they're trying to bait that go over garage. Well, a total different indication is happening. Celsius is already moving, but it's a matter of time maybe until they change sites.
Well, it's like for Crew, they want to see if there's a trademark in Garage, break that, really put C9 on the back foot, but nothing's been broken. It's still a lot of control for Cloud9, and all of this is going to be heard. Ye's been here throughout, and he's on another angle that might not be cleared properly by Crew.
And so it's 30 seconds to make that execute work. A lot of utility that still could be used by Cloud9. The flash coming in, as well as the Hansi seeking a little bit more. Gets out of it. But it might be just the control they're looking for. But look at that. They're going to be all thrown back. The Rolling Thunder working brilliantly. And goodness, that is Celsius even finding the kill. And so it comes there from above as Nax still seeks for more. 10 seconds, and the spike is unretrievable. No chance at all. High-cost rounds. This is a thing that's different to Bind, but at the end of the day, the result is the same. Cloud9 are winning those.
It's just so little, like, much of a gap for Crew to actually push in. But C9, they're all in the right place at the right time. Crew in a good position. The Haunts are actually coming through from Xander, connecting onto great people. It puts Ye in a bad spot. He's able to, like, TP out. And there's some kills that the attackers are able to get. But just look at the rotation sort of coming through. This smoke just drops at the worst possible time. And Ye's able to get 2 kills a second after Axedi's smoke drops. He's too busy with a paranoia throwing it on shot. It's just those kind of moments that you give an inch, they take a mile. C9, 4-2 up.
And this is a usual side, right? Ye top fragging is, throughout this tournament, not necessarily the most usual side, but most of the time when you think about it, that would be something you would definitely consider.
Not many IGLs can say that, though. Top fragging.
Was that necessary?
I mean, it's the dynamic level of the game, and Ye is just able to sort of keep that much motion, and the rest of Cloud9 now going to start going to search for information. Mid-control, it's not being punished. It's not even being spotted by Crew. They're all going down right into the trap of C9.
Oh, and if he's contacting like that, free frag for Ye, finds one, Xand is down, and as they're trying to attack the C site, It seems like they're going to be stopped once more. Man disadvantage for the Crew side is not going to make it any easier to finalize this, but they're still getting the spike down. That is for certain.
They're flanking all the way through. There's a showstopper.
Oh, that's ugly. Spike's not even going down. This is even worse. And as they're trying to retrieve it again, in which direction is safety? Crew doesn't even know. The explosives are landing on the site. And as they try to punish, oh no! It's going to be more than enough. Cloud9 with the 5th, and that teleport looked like it could have been a difference. But there it goes.
Should be still a full buy available now for Crew. They had like 1.2k left. Just holding on to the operator from the last round to try and get something going. And it is just one of these cases where Crew kind of go, all right, we'll all just stack up and just hit a site. How can they have so much information to be able to sort of work off it at this point? And yeah, he's just able to do what he does best. And it's so important for moments like that to just stop letting Nags get comfortable, because he can turn 1 kill into 4 very easily, especially when the operator's in hand. So Zephyr just running in with a classic is a good thing to put the pressure on him, scare him off.
There comes the timeout from Crew. Taking their time to really change things. And this is something we can technically criticize from them, considering how they played in Bind. Bind, mostly a very passive playstyle in various situations, right? This time around, this is not necessarily the thing. Sure, they're still not that swift as we might have expected in some situations, but either way, Cloud9 feels very comfortable when they have so much time to prepare how their opponent is going to approach the round.
Even just moments like this, right? Crew saw the timeouts on Bind. I don't think they won a round after them. Like a couple of the tournaments, things are like instantly fixed, right? Just, we need to do more of this. We need to keep an eye on mid a little bit more because we're giving it away to Cloud9. They fix it, they get around, but Crew have just not been able to get away with that so far. Obviously, MCE, C9's coach, he can have a word with the guys as well, just to be like, sort of, this is what they're probably going to do. Take it easy. But Crew do have a lot of decent ultimates to work with, a full buy because the tour de force is going to come out from Nags.
You want to play? Let's
This
play.
time they're more focusing on that mid control. And so C9 start to push and maybe be a bit more aggressive on A.
Different approach. I think this is also the first time we're seeing that smoke, which is making it very different indeed.
Yeah, different trademark as well. It's on C long.
But so they're starting to push. C sites once more is their objective, and Klaus starting that one. Nobody is remaining directly on C, and so Cloud9 can build this up to be a successful retake if they want to. Leaf gotta leave. He will most definitely do so. And when we take a look over there from Cloud9, there's no real ult, maybe outside the one from Vanity, that would allow them an easier retake.
And these retakes have been incredibly clean for Cloud9 so far. They've been happy to give up sites. Now with all this utility, they're ready to sort of go in, and they've pushed them all the way down C long again. This time they have guns.
Oh, and they're going to start to defuse. Are they going to get it half yet? Yes, they do. All players are standing on site. Vanity keeps on defusing. He's going to be the knight for the moment. Never mind, he actually made it in time. And Crew didn't have a response once more. Standing there and not even sure what happens. You talked about the clean retakes, and we're 5 players on site even making it work.
Crew probably thought it was really easy and straightforward. They weren't running into A on the site. They just go in, plant, play C long. But we saw it the round after the pistol, how close it was for Cloud9 to actually get that defuse in with a low buy. Here, they're able to do so.
Look at him. Because he didn't even move anymore. He has his hands up. Cloud9 are comfortable over here on the stage. Cloud9 are comfortable over here in Manchester. And what could have been like that one factor that maybe made it easier for Crew absolutely does not exist.
Seen a bit more consistency from Crew trying to take Garage, fight for it a little bit more. Those A hits were not working out. To be fair, none of the hits on any of the sides were really working out for Crew at this point. But they showed themselves a little bit in Garage. Rotation's been pulled away. Right now, maybe looking to go A a little bit more. The stun's going to come in from Klaus, but look at where Zelsis is. He's on a nice little angle in sewers to check if anybody's going to come through. Even with all this utility, he could just jiggle peek and check that nobody's crossed.
And with that bit known, trying to force the players away from the double doors of Garage. But you see right here, Crew already set up the goal for themselves to once more end up and see a side that didn't necessarily work for them in the past. Leaf actually goes for it, aggressively standing to see if anyone in the smoke can be punished. And 2 he gets. An absolute beast he is. And as the ult from Fate comes in as well, the side doesn't make it any easier. Vanity swings, but gotta be careful about it, because not every single reinforcement is there, as there's going to be Xappa punished.
So
Vanity still has a reply to it.
30 seconds
Trying to
left.
move around on the backside. The stun in that corner where Vanity was last seen. Doesn't catch on to much. And everything the Crew is trying, nothing's coming together even after a timeout. 7-2 up. Cloud9 in the form of their lives that you'd want to be seeing at this kind of thing. Just getting better and better, and that kind of confidence, if they can get to that grand final later today, I put a bit more pressure on 100 Thieves.
Just to tell you one worrying fact, Cloud9, when they played against Vitality, they didn't lose a single round on attack. They were starting with a 9-free half on defense, so it might not even be the most comfortable start to say it that way.
It's not going to get any easier once we get to halftime, yeah?
Most definitely not.
Charges there.
But now, a lot more pressure coming in, and even then, just Crew trying to get into those openings on A. Shut down by utility. Leaf is feeling confident. Crew, awkward by Sid at very least on round 10, forcing up whatever they can, and it's just already down to 3.
Like I said, he has a bit of a lurk, potentially could make the difference. If he finds 1 or 2 players off guard, particularly the ones on B. But as all his friends are dying left, right, and center, most definitely, his lurk might be the most influential, or will it be the case? Comes down and needs to hit the timing on the players that are waiting in middle, but all the time he was sneaking was not even worth it.
Even if he got 1, Cloud9 have played so close together, it's so hard to trade them. Like Zan could get 1, but there's always somebody from C9 ready to support. It's airtight on this defense from Cloud9.
Very much is.
And that's up to 8. Crew having to really save in the next round, buy up for round 12. It could be a 10-2 half.
It feels very much like desperation at this point. Obviously you're trying your best in this, but the game plan and the answer seem to be non-existent for Crew at that point in time.
Yeah, they're starting to thread apart a little bit. Like you've got Axity, like I'm going to go on a lurk. We need to find an opening. We need to find a gamble. And there was maybe a chance there for Crew. They get 2 players killed on A. There's an open C site. But then you saw players like, I'm going to stay here and catch the rotate, or I'm going to go for a lurk. And everybody in Crew, apart from the start of the round, died totally on their own.
And Crew slowly and steady running on E, while Cloud9 is setting basically track records at that point. So pushing for the smoke, trying to really have that A control under any circumstance. Did Leaf go too far is the question. No, he still keeps on moving.
Yeah, he's got the support from Zephyr. The Prowler comes in even to just sort of check that nobody's crossed.
Oh, and he knows. Here's all those snaps. The flash comes out. Is he in safety? No, the ult's going to be used and gets 1. That is, by the way, the spike down. And now try your best to get out of this alive. No chance. Cloud9 secure the perimeter, and nobody's trespassing.
And Nags just hoping that somebody overpeaks a little bit, but Cloud9 is still prepared enough, and the ultimate from Vanity is actually stuck all the way in behind. Nags said he might be able to get a flank on in this spot.
1 enemy remaining.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Except he can save the day as he goes a little deeper. 1 is whiffing, but there's no chance. This is prime Cloud9. Not a single flaw so far, really.
It's also just the way that Cloud9 are supporting each other with utility, that they're playing well off each other, but also the confidence of not only Leaf even pushing down A long to be that close, but Vanity Omen ulting into their spawn, whilst everybody is still pretty much there. It's just getting information and just going for those confident plays, because really at this point, this series looks like it's only going in one direction.
And to be honest, this is obviously a team full of star players, a team full of strong players, but it doesn't feel like they just rely on the fact on how good they are. The team play is exceptional. A double kill, 2 entries within 5 seconds. And Cloud9 just have a field day, as there's not much to do, except he tries to lurk around, finds a kill, and forces to get that onto Ye. And that's a very early old use, actually gets one of his teammates. But they're backing off. They're leaving the side of B, whilst A seems to be pretty much cleared, Ryan.
With the rolling thunder used, you don't have those retake ultimates from Cloud9, but look at the guns that are still available. It's a Spectre, it's a Bulldog from Axeti, and A site is completely open, and man advantage might not be the difference here. Nags, I don't want to see him push up. This is what I mean. Like, Crew is starting to try and go for these gamble plays and being broken apart every single time. The team play is starting to really disperse from Crew, whereas Cloud9 are looking more and more cohesive as a unit. But the spike has gone down 3v4 on the A side.
Hunter's just going to wallbang him. This is absolutely incredible. Nex is dead. 2 more on side. Axeti tries his best to survive. And back there, Klaus tries his best, but it is double digits without even going into the second half.
With utility to spare, right? 2 smokes for Vanity. It's also like, I like the play that they tried, having Nags in that corner as soon as he gets under some pressure. That paranoia comes in from Axeti, but it's just clearly C9 were prepared from the first time that they played against these guys, where similar plays were happening. It's a nice thing, but it's just those kind of moments, whether it's unluckiness or just the preparation from Cloud9, they have not been working.
It feels like there's not one factor that I could name to you right now, Ryan, where Crew is overwhelmingly better. And that's a sad factor, right? This is where we're in a 10-2 half because every single aspect, every single puzzle piece is in the right position right now for Cloud9. And it starts at every single thing, right? There's no player that's really in a slump. There's no player who's not hitting his shots. There's no player who's not doing his role in form of support.
There's no weak link, yeah. And just the way that utility's been used, it's every aspect, the game sense, the mechanics, the utility, it's all looking great for Cloud9. Crew, they won the pistol. That was the only round that they were able to pick up. That and the following, that were the only 2 rounds that Crew were able to get. It's fair to say that they need to win this pistol. I think that's a given.
A good statement, yeah, I agree. I would sign that. But for now, Ye already wounded. But as they're contacting up the B side, they clear left, right, and center. Leaf is trying to get a little closer, see what he can find.
Klaus?
Was he just walking into the grenade or walking into the smoke, expecting that he would survive? This is a great start for Cloud9. Spike is now down on B. But Crew is initiating the retake. Yeah, Leaf shouldn't have too much of a chance, but he still gets one. So still a +1 here on Cloud9. The Spike most definitely known the position very much out in the open, and as they're finding to get the flank, Xepa even gets another one. It looks possible, as though it is now a 2 versus 2. Xeti and Nax seeking what they can find. It is only Zelsis. And is it going to the pistol to be the glimpse of hope for Crew? He's just waiting for it. Could use for the stun, knows they cannot make it in time, and here it comes. Might just even get 2 in the meantime, but it's enough, and Crew get the pistol. So far, a great statistic in that regard, but everything else they have been lacking in.
It's so touch and go too, because Crew are losing their players first near enough every single time. And in previous maps, what we've seen Crew win, they get that first kill. They're very good at closing out those rounds. It's just not been happening. Certainly when we got onto like Cloud9's defensive side, they were so good at finding the openings, like you sort of showed me. But here, when Cloud9 are the ones being aggressive, you got Vanity sort of teleporting into sight as the Omen, playing around the smokes. Xepa just sprinting all the way through Garage to get in. It's still a confident feeling. And a bit more of a buy actually coming in from Cloud9, seeing as they got the spike planted. They're forcing up a little.
They're forcing up, and they're definitely forcing their way over there onto the A site, as only Nax is standing there ready and waiting to find a little more. The trap could be a little bit of a nuisance, but he does not find the kill that he was expected to find. And Xand holds left, right, and center, but also gets punished in the end. It's not looking good for Crew. And Cloud9, whatever they do, it seems to work.
Boomball from Dave is instantly broken. His attention might be taken towards the back site of where Zelsis is playing from, but look at where Leaf is, just on this corner again. So much support from him, being in these aggressive positions, and the rest of Crew just can't see where anybody's playing at this point.
And they pretty much should know where the opponents are coming from. As now the paranoia comes in, it will probably only get Zelsis there on backside, and they definitely try to make it work, but Leaf is looking in the wrong direction. It could still be successful here for the side of Crew, but never mind. Cloud9 with the 11th, winning the anti-eco, not even making it a follow-up for Crew, which they have gotten in the past so far. But with that one, it could be the final nail in the coffin.
It's also just those kind of rounds where you forced up. By the time the Crew have realized that you have guns in that capacity, you're already on the site. There wasn't anything to give away. It was just that explosiveness from Leaf to lead the line. Crew may be thinking this was going to be a lot more straightforward. But C9, when you're in this kind of form and you're this far up, why not kind of go for a force buy to see if it works? Everything's set up for you to do it. You just sort of look at Crew and think that really should have been yours.
It's such a sad disaster for Crew. Sure, you have to once more highlight. This is a team that freshly formed in that direction, right? That freshly got together with the majority of the players, to say it that way. So it's an important lesson for them. Either way, Cloud9 trying to contact over there up on C to the left-hand side. There might be just one player away from them. But Xeti not getting the kill is a little sad. Davis could make the difference, but he's blind. Every single piece of utility is hitting the dedicated spots. But never mind, it's still possible.
I mean, Vanity was going to teleport right into an aftershock there, to be fair. But it doesn't matter too much. The Caesar's going to stall a little bit, allow Davis a He's been in this spot, and it seems the Crew cannot even get a clean fight against Cloud9. It's all up to Nags. He just got the headhunters in hand. He's over on the A site, and then a 1 versus 4.
That is a magnificent utility usage. And if Nax, if there was ever a moment to make it work and show your strength, it would be now. It's near impossible. He knows it himself, but he has made impossible things possible. Loses already 2 bullets out of his headhunter, still has 6 left, and they all need to run in one by one. It's not the case. Double swing and a 12-3 from Cloud9. It seems like North America is definitely taking home Manchester. That is something we could say.
It's been absolutely clinical today. Of all of the days for Cloud9 to show up, today is a perfect one, really. A chance to be in the grand finals against 100 Thieves, to win that last Ignition tournament, realistically, with international teams before Sao Paulo next year. A hell of a thing. Shut up some of the haters, perhaps, as well, just to show that this is a team to be absolutely reckoned with. Leaf is 18-12. And we've had 16 rounds.
Yeah, the team doesn't seem to have a weak link. At least we couldn't figure it out, really, so far. As for now, taking a bit of control towards Garage. Crew are taking the early fights, but when they're pushing you like this, you pretty much stand no chance. The C-side is the new objective of Cloud9, and the GPS is getting him right in that direction. As Celsius even gets the flank, it might be done and dusted, right?
The mental is broken. Everybody's sort of splintering off from Crew. Xander sort of pushed up, but Celsius really good at watching these flanks. There's 2 other players that could potentially come in on mid, but he's given up that spot. And the spike's been planted. There's not much time for Davies and Klaus to get stuff done here.
That would be probably the most wonderful comeback of this year, but can't be really realistic about it.
They're so scared of Celsius because he was playing in that mid spot, watching for rotations.
Exactly. And there's still so much utility left for Cloud9 to work with, but the end of the side, blind they are for a moment. There's also a Cease following up, and obviously Celsius has his ult. It's not getting any easier. And as suddenly it's Klaus who's airborne, tries to find a little more, gets himself a double, but with 5 points of health and hardly any time left. This cannot be done, it cannot be finished, and it is done because Cloud9 take out Crew with a 13-3 domination.
2 years in a row on the exact same day, Crew knocked out of a semi-final. Maybe not as exciting as it was with Gambit last year, but this one, Cloud9 out for blood, and they're going for it against 100 Thieves in the grand finals. A straightforward start, having to play a semi-final and grand final in the same day, it doesn't matter if you've absolutely dissolved your opponents in this capacity.
And North America gets a grand final here in Manchester.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, if there's anything to say about Americas, including Crew, that is a league to be excited about. Like, the way that Crew grew as a team, the way that they played against Liquid, they got, like Crew, they were initially going home on the Saturday. Now that they're going to be here and playing in the semi-final, it's a great step towards what they're building. They don't have Meltzer 2, a great showing throughout the tournament, but this, it really only looked like Cloud9 were on the server today.
And it's the right experience you need before 2023, right? Especially at such a young roster with players who are not even that experienced, but Cloud9 with a more than deserved victory. And so often 100 Thieves and Cloud9, Matt, this is going to be one game you should never miss.
I mean, 100 Thieves, they've had that time to prep, they've had the time to watch the game, but when it comes to being warmed up on the server, I think you could realistically say that Cloud9 have warmed up pretty well.
Oh, this is not a game where they had, a lot of energy spent in it. It didn't feel like it at all. It's the right kind of warm-up. Exactly. Yeah. It feels like exactly that. It's particularly considering it might be a very long series that we're about to get.
Also, just does flexible positions. Leaf, you got to say MVP in this series, just the way that he was playing on the Viper, then to the Raze. Seamless in how he's playing those roles. Utility, the mechanics, everything feels there for Cloud9 to not only win this tournament, but go on and do some great stuff for next year.
They most definitely will. And I'm just excited for that one, because so far every single part of Cloud9 worked. Not a single weakness has been shown. Not one player, not one piece of utility where you were debating if that was a good idea or not.
Leaf 43-18 when it came to his KD for this series. Like, the man was absolutely in form. Nags, he was very good this tournament with the Liquid game. He was very much shut down. And it's the last time he's going to be playing this new iteration of Chamber, so really at this point it's just a clean slate going into next year overall, I'd say. But Cloud9, 100 Thieves, Manchester Grand Final for home ground.
But the fun part, you're saying it, right? Chamber was not, for me, the deciding factor in that game at all. That was not necessarily the thing that made the super big difference in sense like, this is why Cloud9 won.
Yeah, it's just also the map pool could be much more different. They really didn't show too much strategies. They didn't have to change too much, but going into a best of 5-2, a great way to get a bit more experience on maps that we might not have even really seen from Cloud9 at this event.
Exactly, there were a few that we have not seen. If I remember correctly, in Icebox, for example, we have not really witnessed throughout this tournament so far. So maybe they need to unpack something that we have not seen before, or that might be even an old version, so to say.
So we're going to be at least seeing Cryo versus Ye, the final chance of seeing the old version of Chamber at a tournament like this. It's no holds barred. There's no reason to hold on any strategies. The meta's changes so much. Every cheeky strategy that these guys have formed on both sides for 100 Thieves and C9, we've got to be seeing here, I have to imagine.
And we have already seen what 100 Thieves can do, right? The dominance they have proven previously over there in the semifinal we just had yesterday. It has been phenomenal what they have delivered and what they have done. So I'm just more than curious and more excited to see. I think Crew don't have to hide anything. They don't need to be ashamed of their result in that sense. Still, that was the right experience before you head over there in Brazil in 2023.
There's stuff to work with. You beat Team Liquid, 2 stand-ins, doesn't matter. Like, there's still players on that roster that you want to get that confidence for. But yeah, this has been like a great tournament from them to sort of see like that kind of thing. But 2 NA teams, gonna be a good look in. But we're gonna throw it to Ginny. She is on the studio, she's on the stage, just talking to our winners of C9.
We have Zelstas here for the interview. First of all, congratulations. You guys are now in the finals against the 100 Thieves, so that's something you're going to have to fight for. But it's a mixed bag of experience in terms of being on stage. So how does it feel being here today? I know I saw a sign there for you as well.
I mean, I love the crowd. I love the fans. I love all you guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, you know, being able to play in front of a VALORANT crowd is my first time, so I'm very grateful to be here, and thank you guys for all the support, everyone coming up to me and stuff. You know, I'm a little nervous with it, but you guys are great, so thank you.
You're doing absolutely great. Can even tell that you're nervous. But in terms of being here on LAN, is there anything that has been highlighted in terms of points of improvement or just something you want to do going forward?
I think for us online and LAN, we just want to get used to each other as a team. There's not really like a much difference. More so is just like playing on stage, playing in front of everyone, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Were you actually expecting the same maps today in terms of the last time you guys played against Crew?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know nothing that goes on in our vetoes. That's all our coach and IGL and stuff. So I just come here to shoot my gun and throw utility.
You did great at that. Good job. How has it actually been in terms of having Ye as an IGL this time?
He's doing a great job. We had a little practice with Ye as our IGL, but he's doing great. Obviously, Vanity is trying to help him with secondary calling, and we're trying to get ready for the future tournaments, but he's doing good.
We love a supportive teammate. But 100 Thieves is next. So far, the record is 3 wins, 2 losses in terms of the history of these 2 teams. Are you looking to make it 4-2? You want to equalize it?
I mean, we have to make a statement at the end of the year that we're the best NA team, so what better to do it against 100 Thieves, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the interview. We're going to be heading back over to the desk. Yinsu, take it away.
Honestly, I love Zelsas.
I need to make a sign.
Yeah, I absolutely love Zelsas. I would have loved to know how he's feeling about the role change as well. Obviously, when they brought him in, I wondered what the pitch was and how he was going to be on this team. But also, they're going to face 100 Thieves. And while Zelsas wasn't there, but this is a grudge match. 100 Thieves knocked them out at LCQ. They're the reason why the likes of Vanity and Zeppelin and Leaf couldn't make it to Champions.
And as well, I feel like when I especially ask a lot of people, and like kind of just the general consensus is that C9 are the favorites in terms of what people are expected. When I talk about a lot of these teams, a lot of people